I'm celebrating the last mailbag of the year with Juice of the Oats Oatmeal Stout from Oxus Brewing Company in Winnipeg. I've had this one many times before. They describe it as having a creamy, smooth body, an easy drinking dark ale with aromas of coffee and chocolate. And the way things came out of the mailbag today, there are several of these which are sent anonymously to my P.O. box, so I have no idea what you guys are sending me. This is an assortment of header pins and a cluster of the short breadboard jumper wires. I do like these short ones. They are the ones that I tend to use the most often. This looks like there's 10, 20, 30, 40 of them, which is a typical package. And then we have an assortment of header pins in various different lengths. And of course, you can break these off to the lengths that you actually need. The last couple of kits that I did had a few of these in them too, just for the kits, so they get used quite often, and it is always handy to have those around, as well as these. Thank you very much. And with anything that I've received anonymously, since I don't have a link, I will link you to a search term that finds them. I'll try and always have them sorted price plus shipping lowest, and at the moment, 40 pieces, 10 centimeter mail-to-mail jumpers are on auction for 30 or 40 cents, or the buy it now price of $1.41 Canadian, which is just super cheap. And the header pins, 5 sticks, again, those are at auction for 43 cents right now, or if you just buy them straight out and don't worry about the auction, it's a whole $1.07 Canadian. And the next thing in, also from my P.O. box, no customs lies on there, so let's just find out what I was sent this time. Perf board, more experimental perf board. Looks like the vendor got them from a couple of different manufacturers, but they are all 5 centimeter by 7 centimeter. What have we got there? 15, 16, 17, 18 holes that way by X number of holes that way. And again, a bunch of copper plated holes on the back side. An awful lot of the one-off projects that I do go from a breadboard onto one of these guys to make it permanent. If you don't need to, run off a proper circuit board, especially for a relatively simple project, these are absolutely perfect. The search term that finds these most reliably is prototyping board. These ones are 5 centimeter by 7 centimeter, but there are multiple other sizes available. And these, again, for a package of 5 are going for $1.35 Canadian. I was sent 10, so you do the math yourself. Sometimes you can even get assortment packs that have a variety of different sizes in them. They are just, as I said, just super handy things to have around if you're going to permanentize any of your experimental circuits. All right, next in. This one also came to my P.O. box, but it says LED light on the outside of it. So I'm going to assume that it is some sort of an LED. Or maybe there's customs lies going on. Anything else in there? No. Okay, what do we got? Wow, lots of bubble pack. This is another couple of those automotive LEDs. They just bayonet plug into the dashboard of your car. Normally that's what they are used for, is backlights on dashboards, although they can be used for other marker light kind of applications. I've got a couple of other versions of these in the past in different colors. That one appears to be a bright white or cold white, if my colorblind eyes aren't deceiving me. I don't know, what does that look like to you guys? Anyway, those are neat little LEDs in obviously a weather-resistant form factor. There's no other circuitry in there. It is literally just a little cob LED buried in epoxy or plastic or resin or something. Neat little form factor. Until somebody started sending me these, I had never seen them before. The form factor or shape or actually socket designation of these things is T10, and this search seems to come up with them. And actually, this is the first time I've searched for these and actually come up with the exact shape that I got. So here is one in ice blue. Maybe that's what I've got. I'm not sure. But it's currently on auction for starting at a penny, but to buy it outright, they want $6.97 Canadian. There's a 10-pack of them on auction for 23 cents right now. That's probably going to be expired by the time you guys see this, but use the search term, dig around in here. You never know what you're going to find. And there are others of a similar form factor, or a similar base, but a slightly different form factor. This one radiates the light out the side rather than out the end like the ones that I've got. And there are also these ones, which I've got a few of those ones as well from some other anonymous donor in the past. As I said, keep digging through the search link that I've put down below and you'll find all kinds of variants on the theme. Alright, next thing in. This is actually something that I ordered, and it calls itself a control machine. In a box. With a really tiny little CD with some kind of random ass software on it. I'll have to see if I've got a CD player that still works. But in the bag we have a USB to XLR. Okay, so this is going to be another USB to DMX512 converter. I've already got one. This is a slightly different version of that, and the last time I was playing with DMX stuff and had QLite fired up on my laptop, somebody pointed out that I can do a whole bunch more universes than I had originally thought. So I figured I'd grab another one of these. So that one, the one that I've already got, plus the ArtNet adapter that I built several videos back. I'll put a link to that up there in case you're interested. Even though I don't have a lot of DMX lights, because I'm just playing with these, monkeying around with the technology. I don't do stage lighting anymore, but I do like to keep my hand in it, sort of thing, because DMX was not really a thing that people at the level that I was working at used much. The last time I was doing lighting and getting paid for it, we were all still doing everything analog. So that's what this is for. Let's go see what I paid for it and then carry on with the mailbag. HG Mini USB to DMX Interface Adapter Controller DMX512 Computer Stage Lighting. It's not a mini USB. Maybe it's an HG Mini is the brand. I don't know. Anyway, this cost me $20, $20.76 Canadian, or for my Australian viewers, $22.93. Do they have anything interesting to say about it down here? Standard DMX512 supports all these various Windows versions from XP up to Windows 7, presumably newer versions as well. That doesn't matter. I'm using it on my Linux computer. Yada yada, metal and plastic, sure, it is 1 meter long, it has a CD with it. It's not compatible with everything, but they do know that it's compatible with QLite control, which is what I'm going to be using it with. Let's just check in QLite here. Just plug it in and oh look, it pops up right over there. Excellent. Good to know that they're not lying about that. And the next thing is the largest thing so far, and it is another thing that was sent to my P.O. box. Very different packaging this time. This sort of a foam enclosure suggests to me that it might actually be a little bit fragile. Oh, I did not expect that. I wonder if this was intended to be a review sample, or if this is something that somebody just sent me. I'll have to go and check my emails. But this is a FNIRSI nuclear radiation detector. Comes with a USB-C charging lead and a wrist strap and a manual. And then the main event is this little guy with a belt clip or pocket clip or whatever. Presumably rechargeable, otherwise why would it have a recharging lead on it? There's a USB-C port on the side. I wonder if it'll power on. Yes, it is charged. Okay. So right now it's registering 0.08 microsieverts per hour, which is really low because the alarm kicks in at 10 millisieverts per hour. So we are like multiple orders of magnitude below what we're concerned about. Okay. Anyway, I will have to read through the manual and do this. Well, that didn't work very well. I'll have to read through the manual and figure out a little bit more about this thing and take a look at it in a future video. Maybe go scanning around. I want to see, actually, the reason that I might be interested in this thing is I want to see if this thing can detect radon in a basement, because there was some news articles on radon and my wife was all concerned about it. So maybe if this thing can detect radon and demonstrate that we don't have any in the basement, that would be worth the price of admission right now. Thank you, FNIRSI, for sending this in. FNIRSI GC02 Geiger counter nuclear radiation detector. Currently, they seem to have it on their website for $90.38. Although it's sold out on their website, you might want to check Amazon or wherever else as well if you're interested. Not too much detail on their website. They're suggesting it's good for radioactive medical equipment testing, nuclear industry, marble and ore inspection, multifunctional real-time monitoring, core technology. It's got an 850 milliamp rechargeable battery inside it. It is using an energy compensation GM tube, Geiger counter tube inside it. We have to tear this thing down at some point just to take a look inside. And it detects gamma, X-ray, and beta rays. I don't have any way of determining how good a quality or how accurate this thing is. I wonder if I know anybody that's got access to nuclear material. No, that's probably a bad thing to do for a YouTube video. Anyway, I will play with this thing a little bit more in the future. Thanks to whoever sent it in, because I don't think it was actually coming from FNIRSI based on the way the address was written on the package. And originally I thought I was going to do 5 things as usual, but while I was preparing for this thing literally showed up on my doorstep. So the way the address was written on it, I'm thinking that it is actually a sponsored item or an item that was sent for review. But let me just take a look at this quickly. All right, now that I've got the note with my address on it out of the way, this is KAIWEETS model KM601S Smart Digital Multimeter. And yes, this was actually something that I agreed to receive to show off on the channel. So thanks to KAIWEETS for helping increase the test equipment in my shop here. As usual, comes with a manual, 25 pages in each of, looks like 6 different languages. As is usual for all of their stuff, it's got this semi-rigid case. That's a good-sized meter. Comes with a set of probes, a USB charging cable by the looks of it, temperature probe, K-type thermocouple probably, and then the meter itself. It does have a kickstand on it. Okay, that's a good feature right out of the box. You may notice it's fogging up on the screen. I literally just brought this in off the doorstep. So I don't know a lot about it. I haven't looked up much about it, but let's see what happens when we power it on. It's got a nice big screen, and this is another one of those automatic meters that it's trying to figure out what it wants to read, but you can, I believe, select what you want it to do, I think. Yeah, there we go. So it seems to have all the standard readings that you get on any meter: volts, AC/DC, ohms, continuity, diode check, capacitor check, millivolts, AC and DC, frequency, temperature in both Celsius and that other thing, non-contact voltage, milliamps in AC and DC, and amps in AC and DC. Right now it's telling me that the internal temperature of the thing is a mere 10.8 Celsius. It hasn't warmed up yet to room temperature. And there's the charging jack on top under a little bung. That's odd that they've gone with a coaxial connection to charge from USB. I'm glad they've gone to rechargeable, but I'm a little surprised that they haven't gone with USB-C on it or USB on it. Plus, this coaxial one is a really deep recess, so if you damage that one, you're going to have to get another cable from them or hack something in or something like that. KAIWEETS KM601S 10,000 count smart digital multimeter. Currently, it seems to be on sale, selling for $77 Canadian or $52.99 American if you prefer. Their headline brag is all about smart mode, so it'll automatically determine what it thinks that you're trying to measure and show that to you. But as I said, you can drop it in manual mode and use that, which is my preference. It's got a built-in rechargeable 1200 milliamp hour battery. That is nice to see. It can, of course, do all of the usual multimeter things, and it does have a really big screen, which is nice. And there's the size of 8.5 by 15 centimeters by 3 thick. It's not the smallest meter that they make. It's not the biggest meter that they make. It is a nice, convenient size, though. And there are the safety ratings on the thing. That's always nice to see that they have obtained the certifications. Well, that was a wild ride for the final mailbag of the year. Lots of donations to the channel. Thank you so much to everybody who donates anonymously. If you want credit, I'll give you credit, but most people seem to just send stuff anonymously. These header pins, these jumpers, the perf board, and these LEDs, all consumables, all stuff that comes in handy, all things that are just really neat to have and useful to have around. This USB to DMX adapter that will be added to my experiments as I mess around with DMX technology going forward, as I often do. Thanks to whoever sent in this little radiation detector. As I mentioned, I don't know if it came from FNIRSI or not. I don't remember them telling me that they were sending it, so it might be an anonymous donation from one of you guys, and if it is, thank you so much for that. And an ongoing donation, or another in a series of ongoing donations, review samples, whatever you want to call it, from KAIWEETS, this KM601S multimeter. I am going to be using that in rotation with all my other multimeters around here. It will be showing up. If you want me to do a teardown of either of these things, let me know. I'm going to try and figure out how I can actually test this thing to see if it's even vaguely accurate. I'm not sure how I will or not yet. This, even without testing it, I trust it to be accurate because every single one of their meters that I've tested, even against a $700 or $800 fluke meter or every other meter that I've got, every KAIWEETS meter that I've tested has met the spec that they promised. So I don't even feel the need to test that unless you guys want to see it. And as always, end of the year, thank you so much for everybody who keeps showing up to watch these things. Thank you for commenting and subscribing and doing all those YouTube-y stuff. And a special thanks to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube channel members who actually kick in a few dollars into the tip jar, help keep the beer fridge full, and their comments just keep me motivated to keep doing this again and again and again. Thanks, everybody. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, happy everything that you're celebrating at this time of the year, and I will talk to you later.